Took a walk in the bitter cold. I tried to see your face where it used to be. The night was turned to day. Was a time when I let you in. The skies were never gray, but I turned you away. Burn back the sun, bring back the fire once blazing inside this hollow cage. Burn back the sun, you are the only one to love me with passion's quiet rage. I have tasted the apathy. It was bitter on my lips. I'm not who I used to be. Betrayal with a kiss, open arms to the prodigal. You kept this flame alive. You keep this flame alive. Burn back the sun, bring back the fire once blazing inside this hollow cage. Burn back the sun, you are the only one to love me with passion's quiet rage. Quiet rage. Burn back the sun, bring back the fire once blazing inside this hollow cage. Burn back the sun, you are the only one to love me with passion's quiet rage. Burn back the sun, bring back the fire once blazing inside this hollow cage. Burn back the sun, you are the only one to love me with passion's quiet rage. Quiet rage. Burn back the sun.
You're welcome.
You did a little better than I could have done. That was good. So there's a teacher of a second grade class that was doing a lesson on magnets. And then afterward, they had a written test. And the question was, my full name has 6 letters. The first one is M. I pick things up. What am I? Well, when the test papers came in, 50% of the class said mothers. And so I want to preach about mothers. And sermon I've entitled "Killing It in Motherhood." And it's said that there was a angel nearby when God was creating moms, and he was working overtime on the sixth day. And so the angel says, "You've been doing a lot of fiddling around on this one." The Lord said, "Have you read the specs? Must be completely washable, but not plastic." And these baby moms, not plastic. They have 180 movable parts, all replaceable. You have to run on black coffee and leftovers. Have a kiss that can cure anything, from broken leg to a broken heart. And 6 pairs of hands. The angel shoots it. What? No way. 6 pairs of hands. Oh, the hands are not causing me the problem. It's the 2 pair of eyes. It's one pair that sees through closed doors. What are you doing in there? Where actually you already know what's going on in there. Another pair that is in the back of their head to see things that she shouldn't, but needs to see. And of course, the ones in the front to see a child messing up and to say, "It's okay. I understand. I still love you." So the angel says, "Lord, take a break for now. I'll just pick it up tomorrow." No, can't quit. I've about created something so close to myself. I have one who heals herself when she's sick, can feed a family of 6 on a pound of hamburger, and can get a 9-year-old to stand under the shower. So the angel's circling his creation and says, touches her and says, "Oh, but she's soft, but tough," the Lord said. You imagine? You just can't imagine what she can do or what she can endure. And the angel says, "Can she think?" Yeah, she can think, she can reason, she can compromise. And then he ran a finger across her face and said, "I told you you're trying too hard. There's a leak." It's not a leak. It's a tear, the Lord said. A tear for what? Joy, sadness, disappointment, for pain, loneliness, and for pride. The angel says, "God, you're just magnificent, magnificent." Thinking about the tear, and God said, "I didn't put that there." Wow. What a great analogy here that moms. I want to teach you about killing it and motherhood. Let's read a text in the book of Exodus, chapter 1, where Pharaoh commands, in this is the last verse of chapter 1. Pharaoh commands all his people, saying, "Every son who is born you shall cast into the river, and every daughter you can save alive." So this is God's people in Egypt. They're slaves. The Hebrews are slaves in Egypt. And Pharaoh sees them growing. And he makes this statement now at the end of this chapter. The Hebrew nation is growing, the slaves in Egypt. And he says, "We can't have this go on. If it continues, we're going to be in trouble." So all the male childs, throw them in the river. Kill them. And so that closes chapter 1. Chapter 2, let's go ahead and pick it up there. And I'm going to read this because I really want you to understand the story. "And a man took his wife, and she bore a son. And when she saw that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months. When she could no longer hide him, she made a little ark and put a child in it, and he laid it in the reeds by the river bank. And his sister stood afar off to know what would be done. So the mom has a baby. The Hebrew mom has a baby, tries to keep it. 3 months go by, can't hide it any longer. Puts him in a little ark, little boat, and so. But the daughter, the sister, she's the daughter of Pharaoh. I'm sorry. Came down to bathe by the river and walked along the riverside, and she saw the ark, the little ark, and sent her maid to get it. And when she opened it, she saw the child. And behold, the child wept. And so she had compassion on him and said, "This is one of the Hebrew children." And then the sister that was watching from a distance said to Pharaoh's daughter, the sister walks up, right? Moses' sister. "Shall I go and call a nurse for you from the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for you?" And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "Yeah, go." And so the maiden went, called the child's mother, and Pharaoh's daughter and said to her, "Take this child away and nurse him for me, for I will give you your wages." So, the woman took the child and nursed him, and the child grew, and she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. So she called his name Moses, because I drew him out of the water. So this is an incredible story that I want to use this morning. But before we go any further, I just want to say that just the wonders of moms, that they can see something that not everybody can see, or they should see. She saw in her child that he was a goodly child. Now, some interpretations is he was a beautiful child, which could be, but bottom line is it's fine. It seems special, and so the mom picked that up. And it's not like, sometimes when you read it in the King James version, it says he was a beautiful child. Oh, and the baby's cute. Well, that's cute. That's cute. No, it wasn't like that. No, the baby's funny to look. I'm toss him in the water. We don't want to keep that one. No, that's not what's going on here. She saw something special in the child. She saw it. And not everybody did, but she did. But generally, other people can see in children. Sometimes what the mom sees and say, "There's something unique about that boy, about that girl, something unique." And and I believe she had such a vision that she saw a vessel that God could use. And she's thinking, this boy has purpose. There's something here in my son. Something here. Now, I remember one time Kathy and I were with my mom, and I think my dad was around, but we were all sinners. My dad rolled the best joints, and we were all sinners. And yet, I remember my mom making a comment. I didn't know how it came up. And Kathy's with me. She said, "Yeah, Ricky, you'd make a good preacher." And Kathy's like, "Ugh, ugh," we didn't know. We had no clue. My mom saw something. Somehow, some way, she saw something, and maybe unique gifting or something. But a spiritual eye, you can see in your children, moms. But also, your spiritual eye, you can see God doing something in people's lives. People's lives. What God can do through them, for them. And secondly, how many know that evil is after our children? Evil. It's almost a rarity today to have a selfless mom. Many of the women in the world, they want to just so quickly flush the responsibility and look at on the Google, where's the nearest Planned Parenthood, and they pawn their kids off on another, or they go their way and leave them, back with grandma or whatever, and so. But there's a selfless mom. It's almost in this day and age. It's called you're old-fashioned. You're old-fashioned. Old-fashioned was having granny glasses and plain dresses. To be a mom, put put the child's future before your own, is called old-fashioned. It's such a rare find when you find a selfless mom. We live in a cruel day and age. It's actually targeting our kids and trying to get to them as young as they possibly can. Young as they can. Horrifying to think what this last administration has done in schools. Remember, they're trying to bring the drag people into the kindergartners, and you know, they're going after the little ones, the little ones, and no holds barred. The prince of the air knows that something is up. It was Pharaoh, that oppressor, that began to understand these people of God, so-called people of God. Boy, they're growing. They're really growing. And he saw the writing on the wall, in his mind. Well, if they grow up, they're going to rebel. They're going to take over. So we can't let them grow up. We need to make sure that all the male children born, tossed into the river, let's kill them. Herod, same thing, demon possessed. And he's thinking, I hear there's the wise men told me there's a king being born, and so in Matthew chapter 2, it says that the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph at night in dreams, saying, "Arise, take the young child Jesus and his mom and flee to Egypt. Stay there until I bring you word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him." Right off the bat, the devil wants to kill and to get our kids and destroy it. And so he's after this evil world. He's after our children. The Bible talks about a time in a day and age where couples will not have children. It's not because they don't want them for selfish reasons. It's because they're concerned about the child because of the society and where it's going. Look at this verse in Luke chapter 23. They're concerned about the bend in society and what's happening. For indeed the days are coming in which they'll say, "Blessed are the barren, the wombs that never bore, the breasts that never gave a nursing." Wow. Society, what's coming down, and all that's going on is so terrible. You don't want to put a child in that kind of a predicament. So what she did, this mom, Moses' mom, she kept him safe. At her own risk, she kept him safe. This woman found out she'd have been thrown in the water too. At her own risk, kept him safe for as long as she could. She kept him safe. What a great mom. However, time came where she had to remove her hand off of the child. She couldn't hide it any longer. There really is selfless moms in the world in the church. God. The greatest love next to God is the love of a mother. The greatest love in the world is the love of a mother. They sit up at night, sick kids, they soothe crying babies. Kaylin walks out this morning, before, so she got a cup of coffee there, but it's like, wanting to splash over. Kaylin, let me help you with that. Let me just sit to that. We give it back there. She's like, "Where's my room?" It's why? Because both of them are not feeling up all night, but moms, gosh, make cookies, sew Halloween costumes, and teach their children how to tie their shoelaces, and they're freezing their buns on metal bleachers at soccer games, and even as they get older, there's a little panic, just a little panic, until they hear the key in the door, made it home, say, "Moms, selfless moms, Let me tell you something. Let's take this next step. It's impossible to preserve them. The Bible says that we read that you can hide them no longer. What she did was she placed him in what we would consider great danger. What may drown him. It very well may drown. There's a real good chance that that little ark would be discovered and tipped over by another Egyptian. Now, praise God, the Hebrew child. And in fact, everyone was commanded to toss them in the water. Really good chance. The mom put him in the ark, pushed him off, and he could drown. Put him in a place he could be drowned. Also, put him in a place where he could be formed in a direction that we wouldn't want them to be formed in. The Bible says that when he was weaned, she took the child to the house of Pharaoh, the oppressor, the murderer. She took her child to his house. Think with me here. Incredible. Acts chapter 7. Moses was learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptians. He was mighty in words and deeds. And he went to that college. He got his head full of that mush, that nonsense. Well, there comes a time. You have to trust God and release your kids into the hands of God. There comes a time for God to do that for their good. But let me walk through this with you. Because some of you kind of freaking out right now. There does come a time. There was a concerned parent that wrote a college president. Dear sir, my son has been accepted for admission into your college and soon will be leaving me. I'm writing to ask you to give him your personal attention and to select his roommate, the selection for his roommate. I want to be sure the roommate doesn't use foul language or tell off-color jokes, smoke or drink, or chase girls. Please understand why I am making this appeal to you. This is the first time my son has been away from home, except for the 3 years in the movies. In parentheses. Excuse me? Mom, you need to let go. And so Moses' mom put him in that ark, in the water where he could drown. Very likely, most likely, did not survive outside of a miracle. And she left him there, turned her back, and walked away. You think, did she do that? No. Her faith is stronger than her fears. Listen to me, Mom. Faith covers the child. Fear opens the door for the demonic dirty work to begin to maneuver. Faith opens the door to God's covenant. Fear opens the door to demonic. Now, you've got to listen to this. Don't miss this next thought. Many moms are even in fear when the child's at home. They're in fear. Thus, releasing demonic powers that will ensnare. When they're so-called safe at home, you're in fear. If you're in fear, you're releasing demonic powers. You know, it may not be a boy catch them at the mall. It may not be a girl, but I'm telling you, a demonic world has an open door to their heads and their spirit in that safe room of theirs. Don't fear. This is a picture of a mom with the most incredible reason to fear. In a place he could drown, and handed him over to the mass murderer in that household. For faith is stronger than the fear, and faith covers. Fear is going to be covered. You keep them safe, you think safe, but you're not keeping them safe. Your fear opens a door. Somehow this works. It's not working on them climbing out the window, them thinking in their head, I'm out of here soon. Don't do it. We need to trust God with our children. And this is a perfect example in the Bible about doing just that. And it also goes for our spiritual children. I don't know if some of you heard my sermon on the kids do, but I talked about the knuckleball, no spin on it, right? And so, because we want to keep our hands on our spiritual children and kind of maneuver and another one would be manipulate. Well, you can't. Be their friend, give some guidance, and you take your hands off. God doesn't need our help. He doesn't need our help. You can do things just like they need to know this. That's dangerous. They can't be doing that. Can't be doing that. You don't walk into a bar. I know you're having a Coke with your friends that are all getting drunk, but you can't be doing it. Let God tell. Let God. But be careful that just leave it with God. Watch my sermon if you do. No stand. Just release. Watch what God can do. He can do better than we are. And we think, no, I can get that glove, I can spin. Leave it with God. Hallelujah. So she did. She left it with God. I wrote a song for Shannon, and she was first getting married, father of the bride, right? And so when she's getting married, that special song that I sang, I'm not a singer, not a guitar player, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter for God. Dad singing the song. The whole song was God gave me this daughter, and now she's walking off under the arm of this man, but I'm saying I'm releasing this, I'm giving over this daughter to him, but God really doing your hands. That was the whole essence of the song. Father's prayer, and just and I wrote it, and that was right out of my heart. God, what do you do? She's not going to listen to me. She has a husband she's listening to. You have to release them. You have to release them in their life, and there comes a time. And so, but let's look at just the beauty of providence at work. When an unwilling mother releases her child to save the child. In the book of 2 Kings, a crazy story about two women, and they're living together. They both got pregnant, have babies, and Solomon's king, and anyways, so they're brand new babies, and so while they're sleeping, and they sleep with their children. Well, one mom rolled over on her child and suffocated it that night. She wakes up, she finds the baby's dead. She exchanged it, the dead baby, with the other woman who was also sleeping in the room, and exchange your dead baby for this live baby now. And so, and in the morning, the mom wakes up, no, my baby's dead. And she looked close and said, wait a minute, this is not my baby. You got my baby. She says, oh, no, 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 that's your baby. The dead one's your baby. There's this big debate that goes before Solomon, and they're both going back and forth. My baby, no, it's my baby, it's my baby. Yeah, and Solomon says, okay, cut the living child in two. Give half to one and half to the other. Where's the word? There it is. Cut it in two. Okay? And the woman whose son was alive was filled with compassion for her son and said, please, my Lord, give the living baby to her. Don't kill him. So the king's like, okay, it's your baby. and, and then this other one was in trouble. This other mom. But she really meant that. No, let her take the child. That wicked woman, let the child go. Save the baby. Now she got it back. Why? There's a providence. God knew what he was doing. But that had to come out to save the child. She had to release, trust God, believe God to save the child. For her. Because that's what we want. We want our kids to be safe. Amen? There comes a time where we gotta release. Moses was rescued. Pharaoh's daughter, you got the story, took Moses in, and this is providence. The little ark there with the baby Moses. And, Pharaoh's daughter comes walking by, gonna bathe in the river, but she saw the ark and what's that doing out there? Bring that to me. And the baby was just crying right at the time. And her heart was moved to save the baby, not just God, but she lovingly adopted the child. In Acts chapter 7, it says, Pharaoh's daughter took him, brought him up as her own son. So she's covering him. For all the other ones are in the river, she's covering us. And so the mom released, trusted, God moves in, and God saw that Moses would make it. Even being raised in the house of Pharaoh and all that deep, dark, thick, sick sin, God saw that he would make it. But you know what? Think with me here. We were in thick, deep, dark, wicked sin, weren't we? Weren't we? Did we make it? You going to heaven? Well, I don't know. The Bible says in Isaiah, I've upheld you. That you were conceived and I've carried you. It's perfect. He says, I got this. Can we trust God for our children the same way? If he's going to carry them, he's got it. Comes a time you have to release. And enjoy your children without fear. Don't let fear come in. Whenever moms are beginning to panic a little bit, I tell them, stop. It's going to be all right. Trust me. It's going to be all right. And they may even spin out for a time. Huh? It's all part of it. You need a real conversion. They'll come back. It's going to be all right. Just hold them. And so, here, picture this now. Moms, you moms, your baby is crying and hungry. wondering, why isn't mom getting me? Screaming and out there and floating, and she left me. Walks away, God, it's yours now. You got to do something. And then Pharaoh's daughter arrives. And then the little sister, Miriam, she runs over. Pharaoh's daughter's picking her up. The baby's hungry. And he's such a goodly boy. And Moses' sister, Miriam, comes and says, hey, you want me to go find a Hebrew mom, nurse the baby for you? He's like, yeah. I can't do anything here. And so she goes and gets Moses' mom, brings him back, and she says, "Can I help you? And nurse this child for me, and I'll pay you. I'll pay you." So what a flip of events! Getting paid when there's her own child, and to raise that child becomes hers. The nurse's complete. Just incredible. Hallelujah. Boy took care for her own son. Let's talk about God raised children. Now, there has to be the careful care of a godly mother. One man said, mothers are the first book read, last put aside in every child's mental library. Mothers. And you ever seen a God-raised child? But what we're really seeing is Moses being produced in the most cruel, wicked, challenging generation and place, where wickedness was at its height and cruelty. He didn't have a chance. He's born a slave. There's already a death sentence on him before he's even born. All boys, male children, throw them in the river. That's what he's born into. Yikes. But he makes it through, just like Jesus, come into the world and was in all ways like we, tempted in every temptation possible. It went through his mind. And it's not like just a thought. It was an actual temptation, which means he was tempted to do it. Tempted to curse at those soldiers. Tempted to look down the blouse of the woman caught in adultery as she bending over. Tempted in every way, but he wasn't victim. No, I wanted to. Or it wouldn't have been a temptation. Temptation is when you want to. You want to fight. But he didn't. He didn't. He said, no, I'm not doing that. And he conquered. He made it through. He told his disciples, had overcome the world. Don't be discouraged. I've overcome. It can happen. You can get victory. And so hang with me. I'll show you how. The Holy Ghost is going to help you show you how. And so he makes it through, of course, by the hand of God, and thanks to a mother, trusted, no doubt, prayed. Sometimes you just have to flat out contend against demons. All you can do is pray. Take them before Jesus as the one mom who said, have mercy on me, Jesus. My daughter's severely demon-possessed. That's the only hope. She went to the right place. Got a deliverance for her daughter. Now, so it's thanks to the mom who made it through, but also thanks for God's Spirit at work in the heart of Moses as a child. So he's growing up, and God gave him just enough wisdom to understand the right and the wrong. In Isaiah chapter 7 says he knows enough to reject the wrong, choose the right. Talking about the Messiah. Let's talk about all of us. You got the Spirit of God will help you to just see right and wrong. Kathy and I yesterday we were talking on the way home where we got saved. We were talking about Pepper, I think, and so on. And yet we thought back to when we were first saved and how we just knew. We didn't even know why we knew what we knew, but we just knew what was right and what was wrong. The Jehovah Witness that were talking, it's like, no, something's wrong with you, you know? And watching the movie, went to a drive-in theater. You know, Kathy and I, after we were saved, about a couple months, but we're watching this movie, and something is just, we got no. Start the car, go about it. It's just not right. There's something wrong about this, and so we didn't even know why, but we did know right from wrong. We didn't know why it was right, why it was wrong, but we just knew right from wrong. Thank God. That's the help of God, and so did Moses. And so he had enough wisdom to know that, and he had enough backbone to just fully decide in Hebrews chapter 11 that when he grew up, he refused to be known as the son of Pharaoh's daughter. I wasn't known for that. Well, it was a privilege. I grew up in a castle or whatever. But no, I don't want to be known. He refused to be known, but he wanted to just identify himself with slaves and people of God. Praise God. What an incredible beam of glory that comes from parents that do their best. They really trust God with kids. They do their best. They trust God to be okay. And God's hands all over them. And fear's not opening any doors. You just know it's going to work out. You're happy. And so I don't ever remember fearing, to be honest. Kathy, a couple of years. I don't ever remember one time fearing my kids weren't going to do it. Now, there's some things I saw that they're being dumb. I tried to help them through that, but I don't know, 6 kids. Never one time ever did it cross my mind that they would live for God. Ever. And we trusted them. So we had a reason not to trust them, which they didn't give to us. We trusted them. Praise God. So, you see this mom and the success of Moses, and then there's this run in the family that she had. Aaron. That was her boy too. And look at Aaron's descendants and his walk with God, and he was set apart from the rest of the world to be the priest of God, the Levites, the sons of Aaron. And then there's Miriam, the sister, that was on the spot that day, and she's watching over all the siblings. She's the oldest one, and what an influence she had on the ladies of the world. It says in Exodus that Miriam, the prophetess, Aaron's sister, took a tambourine in her hand, and all the women followed her. Man, she's pointing them how to worship God. God to have a sheep, love God to the boat. Just an ongoing legacy. Let me get to close it by saying this. Moms, understand something. You're showing your children how to be a mom to their children. Keep that in mind. You're showing them how you're mothering them. And by the way, I'm very aware of that in discipling you men. As I disciple you, you're going to disciple others. So I'm very aware of that. I'm working with you. How I work with you. Look at the heart. That's what hopefully we're going to do, and not do something that is not proven, but just take it to heart. So I want to close with this again. This thought it's a little bit different than the rest of the minutes, but for some, Mother's Day is actually a hard day. Because for some, long to have your own child, but you don't yet. Some, maybe a child's life in your life, and your family can cut short. Miscarriage, stillborn, quick death, accident, illness. For some, a child can go wayward for time. Disrespect you and God. You know, the prodigal son, the story of the Bible, the prodigal son. That happens. But you know what? I've seen it come full circle. Just he and one guy that just was a pretty good kid, but grew up and just got stupid. By the time he got married, and just got really stupid for a long time. Probably now 10 years, but back in church. And his wife's just a little flipped out. She's coming around. She wants God. Doing better than he is, but you see God at work. This guy he's a really unique man. Just a lot of pride. Had to break. God's doing something in his life. Or we see children that just make bad decisions. No. Sometimes they make us really, really proud. And other times they make decisions and there's not enough cleaning. So all the tears. How it's playing out. So Mother's Day is something. Maybe our own mom failed and gone wild. Maybe there's marital problems between mom and dad. It's not such a good day. You know what? I want to not just say hats off to mothers. Hats off to mothers. Very interesting thought that I thought God showing me here is, we're made in His. Oh, I want to. But we're made in His image, and the Bible says we're made in the image of God, right? Our Father God, right? And so mankind was made in His image. Man alone is not the full representation of the image of God. Man alone. So, mankind is made in the image of God. So, mankind includes women. And so, men and women together, that's a fuller picture of the image of God. Now, I'm not saying God's a woman. We call him Father God, okay? And he's no sex, actually, but the imagery there is Father, and that's what he wanted us to look to him as. But it's a man and a woman married, okay? It's this woman married to the man, and this woman having children, caring for her children. And caring for the woman, and she's caring for the children, and that whole picture is a better and a fuller, not in total still, but fuller image, closer to the image of God. It's not just man alone. It's this mom thing that's included as well. A heart, compassion, sensitivity, caring. Not just, gotta go work the field, I gotta eat, feed my family. No, it's the whole picture there. That's how we're made in his image. Praise God. So to close with, the little girl is looking with her parents at some wedding photos here. And she made this statement, Daddy, is that the day you got Mom to come work for us? the wedding day. Hats off to moms. Hats off.